What's going on YouTube? It's me, Henrico, here with my boy John, aka El Canadian from Degrassi, and I'm doing a deck profile of Chaos Breaker. Obviously there's a bunch of deck profiles of Chaos Breaker, everyone plays it, but a lot of people don't think it's a good deck, a lot of people think it's just hype, and I'm here to give a deck profile, and John's going to question me, and I'll try to explain how I play the deck in every single way. So, let's just get straight to it. Starter, play Unicorn. Mainly he's built up soul, counterblast 1. I can lock a unit as long as there's another locked unit in the field before it. So some people play the grade 3 searcher to not get Gradelock, but he's not a starvator, so you can't soul blast him. He stays in the soul, and he's just useless. And I hate going search for top 5, no grade 3s, minus. So I played him just to build up soul. For triggers, let's go very slowly about this. 4 heals, Spaniard, it's not that big of a deal, you have to. Let's see what else we got. I play 6 crit. Late game, it's pretty good. Early game, it's bad. So obviously you guys already know I play 6 draw.
How come you think the crits are bad in the early game? I mean, especially with the Mobius.
In mirror matches, it's actually pretty bad because most of the time in mirror matches between Chaos Breaker, everybody's limit break first. Mainly sometimes win. They have an early chance to limit break, and then they have a better chance of healing. So most of the time when I put out limit break first, they have a better chance of winning. And as for the draws, you kind of need them for the fact that you need regular replacement. If you don't draw Mega Colony, it's pretty bad because it's like it doesn't really go plus. The only way you can go plus is through draw triggers and Chaos Breaker. So if you don't get Chaos Breaker's effect off, you're not gonna go plus. And you're gonna need field advantage. So you're gonna need 12k attackers. You're gonna need boosters, and that's pretty much why I play 6 to 6. I might go down to 5 draw triggers and 7 crit, I'm sorry. Mainly because you might deck out. With Chaos Breaker, a lot of people deck out.
It's happened to me.
That's happened to a lot of people. It happened to me, happened to John, happened to CK, happened to Joshua. Deck out is an actual thing in Chaos Breaker. So I might bring down draw triggers on a test out and see how it works. So it's 4 heal, 6 crit, and 6 draw. Now we're going to go over to the grade 1s. I play 4 Starvader Lantium. I'm sorry if I say it wrong. The reason I play 4 of him is because I play 4 to 12k attacker, and it makes good columns, makes 21k columns when you lock 1 unit. So it's the only reason why I still play this card, just to make 21k columns with 12k attacker when I lock 1 unit. So it makes columns and it pushes for numbers.
Is 4 really that necessary though?
At times, yes, and sometimes it helps if I have a weak column. Say for instance, if I have like an 8k, say if I have the 9k Mega Colony or 9k Mobius, and my opponent's Vanguard is a 12k Vanguard or a 13k base Vanguard. So it does help once in a while to bring up the number to make magic numbers, but mainly it's just to hit the 21k columns with the 12k attacker. Since I play 4 of it, so it actually works out pretty well.
There's just some technical difficulties.
Sorry, technical difficulties. My mom called. I have to speak to my mom. Did not show up my ass. Obviously, 4 perfect guards. Standard is pretty much you need 4 perfect guards in this game. Especially if you play 6 draw triggers, you need 4 perfect guards. 4 Starvader Polemium. I'm sorry to say it wrong. He's broken. He keeps the loop going with Chaos Breaker, and the ruling with him and Chaos Breaker is fucking retarded. It makes no sense.
You want to explain the ruling?
Ruling is, as soon as your opponent unlocks his units, you can activate his effect first, counterblast 1, put in the soul to lock that 1 unit, and then you activate Chaos Breaker's effect, which is the soul blast, and retire and draw. But say for instance my opponent has two units that are about to unlock. I counterblast 1, activate his effect, goes in the soul, and I can soul blast 2 cards. I retire 1 of the units and I keep the other one locked, and I still draw for that card. So I'm still drawing 2 cards.
I still don't understand why that ruling is true.
Due to the ruling of Bushiroad saying once you activate the effect, as long as you meet the conditions to activate the effect, you have to activate it as much as possible. So if you don't retire it, you can still draw for it. Just like for the fact that Eradicate Sweep Command Dragon, his effect you don't have to retire, but you can still draw for the effect. So as long as you meet the requirements to activate the effect in the first place, you still have to activate the rest of it as much as possible. So from there you get plus with this effect. It's pretty much continuing locking your opponent's columns, making them broken. I mean, making them not hit match numbers, or make your opponent not hit any good columns at all.
It still would be a good card even if that ruling wasn't good as it was.
Yeah, I mean, this card is really retarded with Chaos Breaker. It makes no sense why they made it.
And it's a common.
I know. I play 2-star Vader, Beast Dragon, Chaos Beast Dragon, 10k booster for Chaos Breaker on Vanguard.
It's actually 11.
11k, I'm sorry, 11k booster for Vanguard Chaos or Rearguard Chaos Breaker Dragon. I only play 2 because it's not really necessary, but if I get it, I put it behind the Vanguard, and if I don't, it's alright. But it's actually really easy to get them when you do Mega Collins effect. When you do her effect, you can switch these out and put it behind the Vanguard.
What's the requirements for the ability for plus
The
5?
requirements is as long as your opponent has one locked unit, the effect activates automatically. So
Oh yeah, and apparently it works for rearguard.
yeah, it works for Rearguard also. So you can be 11k booster for Rearguard too, as long as they have one locked unit. So it's pretty broken. The reason how to play the deck is basically control based. Then we play 4 12k attackers. Mainly just makes numbers, and like I said before, I can make the 21k columns, the 12k attacker and Lanthium. I can make 21k columns for the 11k Vanguards, so it makes good numbers. It's pretty standard. I wouldn't play any less, so 4 12ks. 4 Mega Colony. She's the plus card. It's kind of less one. It's you could first you have to lock one unit, and as soon as there's one lock unit in the field, she can activate her effect, which is the counterblast and superior call grade 1 or less on any rear guard. It doesn't have to be behind her. It can be behind the Vanguard or the other side of rear guard. So it's pretty plus. It's broken, and it's kind of less one. It's retarded. I don't know why they made this crazy. And 3 Mobius. He's only good at Vanguard because the effect only activates when he's on Vanguard. But if he hits, it actually does things. Locks a rear guard and makes your opponent struggle.
Do you find yourself opening them a lot, even though you only play like 3 of them?
Not all the time, but whenever I open up with him, I usually win the game because like usually lock their front row rear guard, so they lose 1 attack, or I lock their boosters, which they actually need. So most of the time, it's more easier to guard against.
And if you have Prometheum and him on the field, it's like prolonging the lock towards things like Chaos Breaker.
Yeah, it actually makes better columns, which is pretty good in this format at the moment because crossfire and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. Mobius, he's still a good card. He's not that bad. He's really amazing when you ride him as a Vanguard, and if not, he's just a vanilla 9k.
I think he's the only thing that can lock without Limit Breaker, really. Oh wait, no. Chaos Emperor can do it.
He's the only one that can lock without counterblast.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
It's very pressuring.
Yeah, it puts pressure on second turn when they don't want to get locked. So Mobius is still a really good card, but I only have space for 3. So as you know, the numbers for my grade 2s, it's 11. It's 11. And get the grade 3s. Obviously, standing the break rides, play 4 of them because block 2 units and 10k boost and 10k plus. Locking 2 units, it's amazing because it destroys columns. Lock the rear guard behind their opponent's Vanguard and lock the front rear guard on your opponent's column. So it basically loses an attack and it's more easier to guard against the Vanguard. So it's pretty, it's bandwagon. So it's pretty bandwagon good. This guy. So that's why you play 4 of him.
Oh, that's why he's bandwagoning? I would think it was the next card.
Nah, maybe.
Link Joker. The fact that he said, "Oh, I'm not gonna make Link Joker," he makes Link Joker.
Chaos Breaker's too good.
So you have to make the deck.
So most of the time, actually in Chaos Breaker mirror matches, if you keep riding the break ride over the break ride, you're most likely gonna win. It's really hard. I mean, it helps out for the fact there that you can keep locking units without counterblasting, and with that Chaos Breaker, he can still go plus off of it.
I think it's usually whoever decks out first. Really.
Pretty much, yeah. And whoever has the biggest soul and all that
Didn't you
bullshit.
deck on our game?
So yeah.
Or was someone else that?
So pretty much in the Chaos Breaker mirror match, whoever rides their break rides first usually wins. Or I mean, whoever has a break ride to ride over pretty much wins.
Break ride.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, your matchups against Revengers.
Revengers.
It's a 50-50.
This is a fit. No, for me, I know
like
how,
45,
if
55.
my opponent messes up and fills up his columns, then I'm gonna take advantage of it. So I just
That's
break
the
ride
workout.
and I lock it. So if he misplays, he misplays. That's kind of on it.
But what if they
most Revenger players don't, so they usually don't play cards until they go ham, until they go Raging Form. They don't play their hand unless they have Raging Form in hand.
Because I've been seeing a lot of people playing Raging Form, and they just make columns, like 2 columns that just end up getting 3 cards retired, and then they have no board afterwards.
That's their fault because they're misplaying. They should honestly, if you're playing Revengers, you should honestly keep an eye out and expect if your opponent has a break ride in the hand.
No, I know that. It's just what I'm saying is that they put the Raging Forms,
This
and
guy.
then they retire 3, and they just leave themselves with an empty field, and then they just swing.
Oh,
you
when
with
they do that,
Raging
I mean,
Forms.
yeah, it sucks. I mean, you can't relock anything, but
It's more of an uphill battle after that. Whoever gets more power, really.
yeah, basically, whoever gets on uphill battle. But
And tie.
when they do that, when they don't have a field, I mean, I still try to go ham as much as possible. But I was just say the break right for next turn, because they're gonna have to next turn have field. They're gonna have something. So against Revengers, I mean, Revengers have a 50-50 or like
It's literally
60
it's
or 60-40.
It's not, no, 45-55 or 50-50.
yeah, I mean, it's really not that hard. I know how to play against Revengers.
Yeah, it depends on the person playing
As
the
soon
deck.
as they misplay once, I'm gonna take advantage of it and blah. Basically
there it
it is. And the other great 3 is obviously the MVP of the deck, 4 Chaos Breakers. The reason why I play 4 Chaos Breakers is to make sure you get Chaos Breaker, and if you have too many of them in hand, you can activate your Vanguard's Chaos Breaker, discard 1 Chaos Breaker from your hand. So it's never useless to have enough great 3s in your hand.
Hey, your personal booster works on rear guard.
That too also. I could have a personal booster, 11k personal.
Or play Eagle.
And it's stupid because if you ride him over, you still get more soul for your Starvaders.
If you guys don't know, his effect is basically the non-limit break effect. Counterblast 1 Starvader. No, it has to be Starvader?
No, counterblast.
It doesn't have to be Starvader.
You have to
You gotta
discard.
choose a Starvader from your hand and discard it.
And the other effect, you have to Soul Blast a Star.
And then his limit break, his limit break is Soul Blast 1 Starvader and then retire the unit that was locked, and then you draw 1 card. So
And you
basically
can
you're
keep doing that.
going +2 after for his limit break, as long as you meet the requirement of locking 1 unit on the field, which isn't hard because you can just break ride. Next turn, their units unlock. Soul Blast 2, retire those 2 units and draw 2 cards. So that's an instant +2 right there. That's what I'm saying, this deck is really retarded. It makes no sense why they made this. But,
Just for the lore, I don't know.
probably, just to make Link Joker's a new deck and, I don't know, maybe Bushima errata some cards or ban
No, you want to know why?
Or
They should
limit
errata the
Chaos
effect.
Breaker.
It's supposed to be different.
What is it supposed to be?
The second effect is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be Soul Charge. It's supposed to be Soul Charge, and then you Soul Blast. It was like Soul Charge 1. It's like Counterblast 1, Soul Charge 1, instead of discard.
It would be the
I
same
think-
thing though. It would be the same
No,
thing.
but that'd be
though.
better because then you're Soul Charging.
Yeah, then
Soul
they'll
Blast
deck
better.
out basically.
Still better.
Oh, Soul Charge.
Yeah, Soul Charge the card and
Soul
Soul
Charge on the top of the
Yeah,
deck.
Yeah,
Chaos
no,
Breaker,
Soul Charge from hand.
Chaos Breaker
Instead of
is a really good
discarding.
deck. It's not that bad at all.
Then
Problem
they
is,
changed that last from that.
if you know how, this deck is not an autopilot. If people say that, I heard that a lot of times.
No, this deck isn't broken. He's stupid. His limerick is stupid. This is the broken card. He is broken because you lock 2 and you
free.
just lock a 3rd with him. That's what makes the deck dumb. The break
you-
ride,
So
not
it's really not autopilot. It's mainly control based. If you can control your opponent's field, you're gonna win because they're not gonna have columns. They're gonna have rear guard attacks. You can perfect guard the Vanguard, and you can just, like I said,
yeah.
weaken their attacks so you can guard less, so you'd be more happier.
My personal opinion is Chaos Breaker is the more OP one because there's too many games that you come back from just because of
Yes,
Starvade.
I've been Gradelock for like 2 turns, and I still come back and win it. That's
Yeah,
retarded.
that's happened to me too.
That happened to me a lot of
That happened to me
times.
twice today.
Because I play the Great Thief Searcher, but I also play Unicorn in my deck. And
Yeah, see,
Colony
I
Maker Searcher's
can't
got
find space for
Unicorn,
that
so
Unicorn.
it's like 2 free
Really?
blocks. Yeah,
It says Great One or less?
yeah.
Yeah, grade 1 less.
I didn't know
So
that.
you can play Unicorn in your deck
Oh,
and
I'm
you
about to
still
get- I'm about to
can
get
See,
this-
they
get
want
the
to play more grade 0s. I'm fine with playing 1.
No. It's because I want to save money on Chaos Breaker.
Oh, that's you,
That's
right.
me.
That's him.
That's you. Me, I don't care. I have the
Yeah, I
money
don't give a
for
fuck.
4 Chaos Breakers.
Yeah.
So I play.
So yeah,
my
it's my
deck
deck
was
profile, it's money, and this deck is money actually.
Yeah, it really
Chaos
is.
Breaker's money,
Yo, Chaos
Breaker's
Breaker's like
money, Mega's
40s.
money,
Colony Maker's a
12K
15.
attacker SP
That's
money.
because you. That's because you. That's
I'm
because you
sorry,
did that.
Breaker's money, and that's pretty much it. Just
Everything else is cheap.
yeah, I mean the
Everything
deck's
else is
the
up.
deck's
Everything's
pretty
a trial
expensive,
deck.
but it's pretty good. So, I mean, yeah, it's my deck profile. I don't think it's the best deck. I mean, yeah, to me, it's the best deck. I'm not lying to you.
No Velvet.
It's the best deck at the moment.
Grade 4 Kagura.
It's not just hype. You just gotta know how to play against it. You gotta know how to play the deck. It's not hard. It's not all pilot. And hopefully, when Novel comes out, this deck starts to go down. Die.
We'll see how
It will
people play Novel.
Yeah, hopefully. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my deck profile. Later, YouTube.